Music with Monali. Welcome to Music with Monali. I am Monali. And today's video, or not today, well, one of today's videos, this one, I really just wanted to acknowledge Veterans Day, not just acknowledge it, honor it, because I am a military spouse. My husband, we met in Savannah, Georgia, where I am from, and he was an Army Ranger there, and he grew up, as he says, in battalion. He was in 1st Battalion. And then after he was in the military, in Rangers for about, I guess 5 years, maybe 6 years, he ended up going to RRC, which is a reconnaissance division of Rangers, and that was in Columbus, Georgia. And then after that, he came here. He promoted out of Rangers, and which was kind of a bummer because that's where he grew up. He loves Ranger Battalion, but we are now in Colorado Springs, where he is with Special Forces, 10th Group, and so it's been exciting, scary. He has done 7 deployments. He has done 5 or 6, I believe, to Afghanistan, and 1 or 2 to Iraq. And so yeah, it's been scary, and it's been exciting. We've met amazing people, made really good friends. It's definitely, if you've been in the military, it's a brother sisterhood that compares to nothing else. So he has about, 5, 6, where are we at? 14 years, 11 years. He has like 7 years left in the military. So I believe, obviously, at this point, he's going to do the whole thing, do the 20 years, right? And so for Veterans Day, I just wanted to thank him for everything he's done and the stuff I know that he's seen and the friends he's lost. And, one of his really good friends, Tanner, was killed overseas. And if we had a son, we were going to name him Tanner, but we've had 2 girls. And anyway, I just want to thank him for the life he's provided for me and our girls, and it's wonderful. And just the danger that he is in, anytime he does anything, really. I mean, he's airborne, so he's jumping out of airplanes. He does free fall, which means he goes from the really high up where they have to wear oxygen and jumps out of the planes. Things like that. Like, it's very scary. So for this video, I really just wanted to thank anyone that is a subscriber of mine that has served in the military, that is serving now, that has friends, family, coworkers, anything in the military that has served, does serve. And I think it's really important, especially with times going on now. And I feel like so many people I talk to, having worked in the school system and things like that, so many people that I've talked to, young people especially, don't have this patriotism. And it makes me sad to think that patriotism is being lost, because if you don't appreciate freedom, if you don't acknowledge where it came from and how we keep it, then you won't have the gumption, the gusto, the want, the will, the urge to fight for it. And so with a lot of freedoms, I feel like being lost throughout the years, I think it's something very important. So I teach my girls, not so much Audrey yet because she's 17 months old, but Charlotte, we talk about the sacrifices of the military and people that help keep us free. So with that being said, I posted on my Facebook, I'm not on my Facebook, on my channel, about letting me know if you are military or someone who is. So I'm going to read through these, and then I will go to my Patreon and read through these as well. And I really thank you for watching, and I think it's a great way to honor our military. So Joanna says, my dad and 2 brothers-in-law are Army vets. My nephew is serving on his first assignment with the Navy. Super proud of them all. And then she says, if you want a song that invokes a lot of emotion in vets and their families, listen to Home Free, featuring Lee Greenwood and the U.S. Air Force Band, the singing sergeants, and God Bless the USA. Oh my gosh, I'm going to listen to that. I would love to play it on this video, but I don't want this video to be blocked. So that's why I'm not on here. So William says, father, uncles on both sides served in World War II, cousins in Vietnam. Niece is currently a first sergeant in the Air Force Reserve. That's amazing. I wonder if she came through here at all, because we have a big Air Force base and the Air Force Academy. Han Solo Cup. I like that name. Sergeant Aker, 15 years infantry, 1 year Iraq deployment in 2003, and he was medically retired after being in a 5-ton rollover accident. Oh my gosh. My goodness. Laura says, my husband died of COVID on May 28th. Laura, I'm so sorry. That is absolutely awful. She said he was a 3-time Purple Heart recipient in Vietnam. Oh my gosh. A 100% disabled Marine Corps veteran. Oh, she said he was on the cover of Life magazine as one of the wounded during the Tet offense. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll look it up. He is the vet with the bloodied leg on the cover of the magazine. Laura, what an amazing husband. Thank him for his service. Absolutely. And I'm so sorry for your loss. Mr. EE says that he was in the military from 1987 to 1992, and he was Sergeant 3. Some of these I don't know what they mean. Only sonar person I know of that was never stationed on a ship. Oh, imagine that. Oh, United States Navy. Okay. Home of record back then was Colorado. Hey, hello. Kevin says, thank you for your sacrifice. Being a military spouse is not easy. It's not easy, you know, and I hate those bumper stickers that say Army spouse, hardest job in the military. It's not the hardest job in the military. It is difficult, very. But I think risking your life and being shot at things is harder. But thank you. I really appreciate that. I am a Navy veteran from 1981 to 1985. My daughter is a Marine veteran, 2006 to 2012, and her husband is still currently serving. I have a niece still active and a nephew Army vet. I enjoy your reactions because you are honest. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I know being a military spouse is difficult on everyone, but can't be accomplished without people like you. Thank you so much, Kevin. I very much appreciate that. Let's see. Maka. I'm pronouncing it Maka because M-A-U is how I spell mine, and it's Ma. Yours might be Malka. Proudly served U.S. Army, and from 67 to 70. Vietnam, 68 to 69. Oh my gosh. Vietnam is terrifying to me when I see pictures, and I've watched documentaries. Fort Lewis, Washington, Fort Gordon, Georgia, let's see, Fort Benning. We were at Fort Benning. Fort Carson, hello. Fort Stewart. And TDY Hunter. That's where my husband was stationed when he was with the Rangers, was at Hunter. Jay says, Army 2 years and 1 year in Vietnam. Whew. Gary is U.S. helicopter pilot, 1965 to 1971. Helicopter pilot, that's really cool. My husband talks about jumping out of the helicopters, doing like the static line. Not his favorite, but I always thought driving or flying a helicopter or riding in one would be super cool, especially when you see the Army guys and they just have their legs dangling out of it like it's nothing. That gives me chills. I'm scared of heights, so maybe I don't want to ride in a helicopter. I don't know. So to all you on my channel that commented there, thank you so much for your service. And just know that even if it feels like patriotism is being lost, there are still people, young people, that are trying to keep it alive, and that we appreciate everything you've done, the sacrifices you've made, the things you've seen that stick with you to help people be able to voice their opinions on a daily basis. So I'm going to go to my Patreon now, and Mike says, my name is Mike, U.S. Army, or U.S. Air Force, 73 to 76, California Air Guard, 76 to 78, and he was in San Antonio. He was did his training at other different places. He was at an air base in the Republic of the Philippines, and just across the South China Sea from Vietnam, and he was there from 74 to 75. I wonder what that was like. Vietnam closed in 75, so we were mostly a supply base. And he put, that reads like a resume. And he said, probably like your husband, people in the service seldom brag about what they did. That's the truth. Anytime I talk to my husband about things he did overseas from deployment, it's pulling it out of him if I get anything at all. And he said, mostly because we are a team in every sense. We were each a piece of a force that we all took pride in participating with, regardless of specific duty or location. I never went to Vietnam, but I feel associated in a way because we did our jobs to support the boots on the ground in country. Absolutely. Absolutely. They got the necessary supplies to support the mission, and what would they do without that? It's all intertwined, like you're saying. It's that brotherhood and sisterhood. He put, it was an honor and privilege to serve, time well spent, and it taught me a trade that I used in the formidable years of my career and established a legacy that I hope to honor the rest of my life. Absolutely. Ryan said, both me and my dad were U.S. Air Force. I only spent 4 years as a crew chief on refuelers at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. You say only spent? That's 4 years that you served your country. That's amazing.
What are you doing?
I'm making my video about Veterans Day. Remember we talk about the military?
Mama.
Yeah.
But why are you gonna have the picture?
Because I was reading some of these from my YouTube. We talk about military, don't we? And how important they are?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan said both me and my dad were U.S. Air Force. Oh, that he's talked about spending 4 years. He was a crew chief on A-10s at Davis Monthan in Tucson, or it might be Tucson. I don't. It could be Tucson. I don't know, but it's in England. And Woodbridge and Bentwaters in England, and then back to Luke Air Force Base in Arizona, where he was a crew chief on F-15s. Oh, cool. We hear those fly over a lot. F-15s. There's a new one that my husband was telling me about that we heard fly over the other day because we have the Air Force Base. It is so cool. Got discharged in 92 as a staff sergeant. Sadly enough, he died this past week from ALS. I'm so sorry for your loss, Ryan. I can't imagine losing a parent, and I know that has to be rough, especially during these times. I hope you were able to be with him and, be there. Sean said, I joined the Navy and was headed to a carrier as an E3 when someone told me that if I volunteered for submarine service, gives me chills, they had to send me to at least try. I jumped at the chance and never looked back. Went all over the world, including going through both the Panama and Suez Canals and going to the North Pole. What? Oh my gosh. If I tell my daughter you went to North Pole, she is going to freak out. He put, hi, Santa. That's cute. On a couple of my boats, submarines are boats, not ships. I didn't know that. We trained Rangers. Hey, cool. SEALs and Marine Recon. We always had to load about 3 times the normal food load when they came on board. Why do you think I have a Costco membership for me and 1 man and 2 little girls? Because those boys can eat. Agree that you should be very proud of your husband, and I thank him for continuing to serve this country and protect our freedoms. Enjoy your holiday. Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate that, and thank you to you as well. Submarines. My husband's uncle was on a submarine and loved it, and I just, gives me chills too, because just like being up high, I don't know, something about being encapsulated in something under the sea is like terrifying, but I'd love to hear more about that for sure. Okay, so Dave says, I have not been in the military. I have relatives, uncles, and a sister who were in the military. I have the greatest respect for those who serve, for their sacrifice, and the sacrifices left often spoken about, the sacrifice of the family member left behind. Thank you. I appreciate and thank the members of the armed forces and their families. I applaud your Veterans Day special. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And thank you to your family for all of them that have served. That's quite a few. Another Michael says, my grandfather was in charge of a squad of engineers in World War I as a member of the Canadian Army. World War I. So me and my husband, we like to watch a lot of war documentaries, military documentaries, anything from gladiator times on. We even have a trip planned for whenever our girls are old enough and we can leave them with grandparents to go do like the European tour of World War II, because I'm a big World War II buff. Of where all that happened and see some concentration camps, things like that. But anyway, whenever we talk about war, he says that he thinks World War I might be the one that he would hate to have fought in the most. The trench warfare. Man. They took a bunker, and in it he found a notebook which he tore in half and carried the other half with him to keep a journal of what that horrible war was like, including dealing with mustard gas attacks, etc. I would love to read that journal. I know that might be imposing on your family, but if there's any way that I could just look at it, I would absolutely love it. His guys were the ones who would repair or crawl through no man's land to wire and blow out bridges. Oh my gosh. When I was young, he taught me a lot about a lot of things. He was a remarkable guy. Oh man, that's amazing. And so my grandfather was in World War II. I would say War. It's like hard for me. World War II. And he was a medic, and he was there for 2.5 years. And he got R&R, but he wasn't able to come home for it. And so he was one of the medics, of course, that would run out onto the minefields and get bodies and pull them back. And he said they didn't carry weapons, but they were shot at, even though they weren't supposed to be. And he talks about remembering just the smells of the bodies and things like that. And it affected him very, very roughly for a while when he came back. Again, it's heartbreaking. Daniel said, I joined the Navy in 1966, was on 2 med cruises aboard the destroyer USS Turner. The second one, we entered the Black Sea to show the USSR it was international waters. Whoa. I would love to hear more about that. I bet that was intense. And then Tom says, I am Tom. I entered the Navy in 1969 and served in the served in the submarine force on both nuke and diesel boats until my retirement in 1990. Wow. I spent half of my career overseas in Asia and Europe. I have many relatives who have and who are currently serving in all branches. Tom, that is amazing. So it sounds like you definitely have your sea legs. Do you boat now? I'd like to know. Is that something you continued, that you learned in the military and then you continued it on? Thank you, everyone, so much for your service. I absolutely love hearing the stories. And if you missed the chance to tell your story, put it down below, because I'm going to read all the comments on this. I'm going to take the time on Veterans Day to really go through and read the comments. I try to read them on all my videos, but sometimes with two little girls, my parents are here, my husband has gone training, it's hard to find the time. But I'm really going to sit and find the time on Veterans Day to read through these comments and just really think about each and every one of you and the sacrifices that you and your families have made and the service that you've done to help keep me and my family free. You know, my dad is from Iran and he came to this country, and he always says that it is the best country in the world and that he loves the freedom of this country and that he hopes that it continues, and it won't unless we have our military, right? And the support for them. And whatever country, showing my nails, okay. And whatever country you're in, your military is important as well for your country, and I thank them as well. And it's just, it's hard to put into words how I feel about the military, but just know that it hits me right here. So anyway, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for watching this video and honoring the military as well. Happy Veterans Day. Music with Monolene. Cheers.